Hey everyone, welcome back. The year is 2021, strangely, and we're casting Jaraci Cup 6 finals from, well, this is gotta be about 9 months ago that these were played. There's a story behind this. How many hello from the future jokes are gonna be in this cast? Just one, just one. I've been finally getting around my crippling laziness and uploading all those videos that I've got stored, but this one was lost somehow, the Jaraci Cup 6 finals, so we're just gonna cast it right now. And this is between myself and AGameAnx. I'm like 80% confident that these are the right finals, so but yeah, this is a little bit silly. I'm sure you can all agree, but hey, we're gonna go for it. Looks like the map is Boneyard here. I don't have an info.txt though, it seems to be missing from this one. Well, is that true? Oh no, sorry, there is an info.txt, sorry, yeah. So A-Game had the faction pick second, he takes Saban here as the counter pick. And he bans out Torrent Crater, I ban College Teeth. I think that's pretty standard, because at the time I believe we played with the vanilla Torrent, if I'm not mistaken, which is a map that Coalition Saban really just did not want to deal with Galzian on, so... But I picked the Boneyard for game 1 here, and A-Game picked KT Alt and Titan Passage. There's actually some nuance here, obviously like I'm going to go with my tried and tested Rail Rush and then probably fail against A-Game, because unfortunately, that's how these things often go. But I've come to the realization, like, I think when you're picking for a series, you have a lot more momentum in a sense if you can get that map to be after a couple of games, especially if you can have that be on the potential match point. Right now, A-Game, of course, he's lower seed, so he gets to pick games 2 and 3. But I should save my Boneyard pick, which I'm obviously going to take for game 4 instead of having it for game 1 like this. I think. This is kind of some pick ban theory that I'm starting to go through in my head, but none of this is obviously written in stone. Carry production upgrade not yet started for A-Game here. So you expect him to go with that. You expect him to like see, okay, this is probably a Rail Rush, and then counter with the LAV production such that he can overwhelm my skimmer numbers, and sure enough he does get that started. That's why I've gone for Railguns pretty early here, so I can get Assault Rail and just kind of slow him down until I can get my second PC started. But in the meantime, of course, he's going to have an SC out really soon. Something that A-Game's very good at, expanding during the attack here, which he's kind of attacking. These days we would see production upgrade first and then the SC. But you can play it this way too, and this is how he chose to do it back then. Well, he's got Railgun Fab started as well, so yeah, he definitely wants to counter this Rail Rush before he can get started really. We're already about 2.5 minutes in here. Rail Rush sometimes can have a bit of a slow start. And you can see me 1 on RUs, 1 on CUs. I think that's because I planned to build heavy railguns back then. Which I think would be a mistake though. These guys probably should just both be on CUs here. But at any rate, it's a very, very good job that A-Game does by just like leaving this one LAV here. A more iconic duo does nay exist. That's true. Yeah, he leaves that one LAV over there, so I can't long distance mine off my second base, and that's really, really big, actually. Oh, Magpie just got online on Steam. If only we were casting this together. Railfab done now for A-Game. I do have that second PC started. So the idea is that after that's finished, now I can overwhelm his LAV production. But for now, I'm actually in a little bit of a dangerous position where, like, he can outdo my, oh yeah, I definitely can. He can outdo my skim production here, so my ARs hold him off, but it's kind of tentative. If I miss position here, he can really mess me up. I think that this fight is okay for me, though, because you can see right off the start we're going to get 2 guys very low, and so it's 2 for 1 trade, it looks like that's fine for me. Not actually the most horrible thing for A-Game, because again, he has better production than I do, but you know, you kind of got to imagine if you can't deal with this, eventually I'm going to have that second PC out and things might get rough, but I'm building a heavy rail. Uh-oh. This is very old school of me. This is how we used to always do Rail Rush. In fact, you never built Assault Rail. Well, I guess fair enough, we did build Assault Rails back in vanilla, but when he would do these Rail Rushes. But building that heavy railgun too early can really get you messed up, because obviously your opponent has so much LAV production, and this heavy rail doesn't really contribute. This is an older version of Jaraci patch, of course. And in the current Jaraci patch, heavy railguns actually have full accuracy against Strikecraft when they're in the right range group, but this guy's not going to do anything really to the LAVs. So it's really dangerous. Like if he can get the jump on me here, he might just be able to kill everything off, which is quite dangerous. But he doesn't have the assault pack, which is good for me. Again, the assault rails can just kind of chew on him a little bit, which is nice. But I've got that PC sitting at home. Okay, now it's coming over. Ooh, this is a dangerous commit of the skims though, because again, if these go down, I probably lose the game. This heavy railgun is kind of a wasted investment in that sense. The numbers are thin. There's only 4 here. There's 7 for him, but I do still have those assault. Well, there's only 1. No, there's 2. There's 2. Ooh, this is getting really good. It's alright. But it's only 4 LAVs now to an assault railgun with some skims backing, and I do have that second PC coming, so I think I'm probably going to be okay here. But you have to realize on the back end, like, A-Game is on 2 base now, so if this continues for too long, he does start to get a little bit of head passing me, right? Which is not good for me. It's a massacre. I think everyone's dead now. It's like these 2 units are the only guys who have survived through this whole fight. Pretty grisly stuff, of course. This one's getting kind of out of position, but this AR is just getting damaged like for free constantly, so. 150 gig. Oh my gosh. That's a lot of gigabytes. $64 bits. Well, despite being 150 gigabytes, it seems. Or do you mean like it literally has no campaign? Because that's kind of a shame. By the way, railguns are on the way for A-Game here. This carrier's taking a bit of abuse, you can see, to the assault railguns, but he's not really going to care unless it gets too low. Well, in fact, what I should really say is, like, him being low doesn't matter because there's no threat to him right now. As long as he can hold me back, like, he doesn't have to worry about this, really. This is where I want to start building heavy railguns, but I didn't need it before, so it's a little bit too early that I built that, of course. The Saban railguns are out now. Obviously, he is playing Saban, so these railguns are real beefy. And they are getting Sunder on that PC right now. That's not going to be a huge problem for me. Oh, the heavy railgun nearly dies there. Yikes, goes down to like 22. These 2 assault rails are like out in the open where they can get hit by these railguns. Yeah, you see they just melt immediately after they get sundered like that. Does that even make sense? Assault railguns might have 0 armor as a base. At any rate, it died, right? A-Game will be happy with this. And he does have armor 1 now, he's getting armor 2 also. It's at this point I start getting real nervous when I'm the rail rusher because it's clear that I'm not really getting anything done here. I need to get more heavy railguns, but it's expensive. Oh, but I'm building more skims because I feel like I need that too. I kind of do need that, but it's tough because my opponent is on 2 base here, so we might be reaching a point where I start falling further and further behind, which is not where you want to be. This is the game? Oh, I don't know what the game is, but I'm excited now. Mark target being used by these Saban rails. This is actually a moment where my Gaussian heavy railgun can maybe fight it, because obviously it doesn't have, you know, mark target doesn't have any damage. You can see this is really bad over here, because the skims are just like, yeah, in fact, that's my summation as well, apparently, back in the day. I would agree that this was a bad position. The skims getting killed here is just really, really not good, because obviously once they go down, the LAVs are going to jump on the PCs, and they just wreck everything. So if you ever lose the skim blob, you lose the game, and I guess that's why I kept building them. I suppose I can see the sense in that. But I think my armor 2 wasn't done yet, and he already had it, so I was fighting from a disadvantage. But if LAVs can be running like this, they're actually in a really good spot because they can start picking up bits of high ground, and the skims are able to shoot at them the whole time, but they're still chasing. So from 3 PC from 1 base. Yeah, I remember that game. I did that to Moose one time, I remember. But at any rate, it's not going to work this time. Yep, another Bozo throw. Would you believe it? Probably. But we're going to start off the series 1-0 for A-Game. And again, this is why I say you shouldn't pick that kind of map for like game 1 of the series. You want that to come in later. But game 2 is going to be KT Alt, which is a very, very nice pick for A-Game. This is a map where Soban does very well. And it's a map that I've typically struggled on quite a bit, so I think that this is a very, very good look for A-Game. Does, of course, drop the customary targeting jammer as he's throwing that base runner. Base runner retire builds become very meta. It's a little bit risky to do it, actually, against Galzi and Conif, but he clearly believes that this is not going to be a problem. What you can do is send a probe out if you want to go eco and still retire that base runner, but even that I think is a little bit risky because that targeting jammer can be a very valuable ability. So, but at the moment it looks like he does have the 6-1 setup, which is usually a tell that someone's going for LAV fab. No, look at that, he's actually just queued up an SC. Okay, this is a bit interesting then. So This actually might be pretty standard now as I think about it, because obviously CUs are becoming more and more important as the meta progresses more towards like Strikecraft, and obviously salvagers have begun to cost more as well. So perhaps that's more the thought there. But for me, it looks like it's going to be ref mode first here, and these timings are going to be pretty comparable, although he is a little bit faster. Gonna go Skim Fab first here though. I'm not going to play this greedy. He could be going LAVs. It's a good map for them, so I don't want to get caught out. I was saying that these timings are pretty tight, but actually he's pretty ahead here now as I look at it. Something must have gone a little bit wrong with my build, because I think I'm too far behind here. Yeah, look how many RUs I have, actually. This is something that it's on my mind because we just played some games where I had a similar problem, on this map in particular. So, yeah, I suppose I overmined on RUs here, actually. So this is going to slow down my ref mode timing quite a bit. It's interesting to see, like, the level of play has gone up quite a bit even in, like, this 6 or 7 or 8 months or whatever it's been. And then rebuild them. Yeah, that's what I was doing in that one game. On, yeah, that last game that we had just played for JC10. I need to be careful what I say, though, because obviously this is going to go up on YouTube next, so I can't spoil anything. That'd be a travesty. Fighter and Gunship tech coming from A-Game pretty early here. He's not got any other tech, so this is going to be Fighter and Gunship first. I've got a couple of scouts here, but they're going to be a little bit too early to catch the Fighter and Gunship. I would be able to see if he had, like, AV tech or something, but I haven't gotten eyes on that carrier just yet, so... He does have that production upgrade started. I really want to see this carrier now, you can tell. I am going to catch it. So, okay, there you go. No AV tech, no anything like that. This, to me, probably looks like LAVs. So yeah, I do have that second PC queued up. Thing is, it is going to be Fighter and Gunship, though, about 20 seconds out, so a little bit of an awkward timing for me to be scouting it, because I'm not going to catch exactly what's going on. But as a result, I might tech... Oh, look at that. Hey. Missile ship fab. Mm-hmm. Oh shoot, thanks Moose. That is sick nasty. We will be casting those pretty soon, I expect. I want to co-cast it with Discara. He seemed open to the idea. We just need to schedule it. Not tonight, no. But sometime soon, that's all. It'll be around this time, though, because that's when it'll be, I think, most convenient for him since he's in Europe. There's that second PC for me. Like I said, I had that blind anti-air, and I will probably build it, too. I don't think I was going to tech that if I wasn't going to actually build it. I might want to just see it, though, right? But that could be a little bit dangerous, because he does already have that air on the way, so... Best for me if I start building these missile ships almost immediately, actually. But I do have the tech, so I mean, this is actually a pretty good blind read for me. And A-Game, of course, has, I mean, he's building these expensive units, so he's sacrificing a little bit of eco for it. He does have long-distance miners, meaning he's still technically ahead in eco, because I haven't started mining here, as you can see, but he will end up being a little bit behind if he doesn't get any value out of the air. But it's launching already. Uh-oh, I'm not building any just yet. Uh-oh. But I've got the tech, so I mean, at least I can get them out once I need them. Another PC gets queued up, though. I might need to cancel that to get the money for this. But I have the fleet capacity open. I see the strike fighters now. Split coming out there. We're definitely going to lose one salvager here at least. It'll probably just be 2, though, so this is not so bad for me. Would be a nice trick if I would quick drop these guys, seeing as I know that they're going to die. You can see I'm bringing this PC back. I'm bringing both of them back. I've actually gotten a strike fighter kill. Ooh, I kind of like this move. I mean, obviously I'm sacrificing a bit of eco for this. Also, PCs had high ground back then. That's a little wonky. I'm losing a bit of eco for this, but I'm getting, you know, maybe some value back for the salvager that I lost. It looks like I only get 1 strike fighter for it, but it's probably actually worth it, I think. If you evaluate like how many if you evaluate how much like economy I lost for pulling that maneuver. Oh no, this is gonna be bad. This guy is mining off the main, but he's like returning to this PC. Oh gosh. Oh, it looks like he's mining off like the second. Either way, it doesn't look pretty. But yeah, if you evaluate like how much mining time I lose, you can give like a cost to that maneuver there, and I think it's probably worth a little bit less than a strike fighter. So that was probably a good play for me. This is an accidental move, I'm sure, with the PCs. Yeah, they're gonna go back. But I've got the assault ships out here, so these LAVs are not gonna be terribly threatening. I don't have any armor yet. And AGame does have armor 1. He's teching that assault pack. He's getting railgun fab 2, so could be a little bit scary. But for the moment, I feel confident in the defense here. I just need a little bit more missile ships. But the big problem, I think, is that I'm hemmed back into my base. I can't move out for the moment. And that's why it's very good of AGame to be picking up these artifacts. And he does get his third base set up, by the way, at enough of a timing that I would say he has been ahead overall. Because he obviously did use a little bit of mining time to build up these strike fighters, but he ended up getting value out of it. And I don't have any anti-air actually at that location. I mean, clearly the scanner can see these strike fighters here, right? So I really want to send this missile ship over there. I don't want it to be over here. Talking about targeting damage, by the way. It gets thrown out a bit early by AGame, though. Ooh, it's taken out well, though. You can actually use that missile ship barrage to try and kill it off, but I don't think that's going to work. Targeting jammers are actually quite tanky, so... I do have armored defenses 1 here, but I lost an assault ship though while it was in that targeting jammer, so well played by AGame there. He's really bringing his A-game, huh? What I need to do then for sure is, like, I want to stop this extract if I can, but... Oh, another targeting jammer. Yeah, see, I need to avoid these. I need to keep these guys split up. Not so much that they can't support each other, but enough that they won't get targeting jammered like that. Oh dear. Yeah, this is looking a little bit rough now. AGame probably wants to delete that one. Yeah, he will do. Yeah, but because 2 of them died there, AGame has the numbers. You can just jump on this next one as well. Uh-oh, now he's got like a clear path up to the third base. You can see how those targeting jammers really pay for themselves. Yikes. Bit of an attempt at the depth pack deploy there. Gets about as much as he usually does, which is not too much. At least weakens these guys up a little bit. AGame feels like he can't just YOLO in here, which is good for me. I can bring these guys back to mining now, but this is rough. And I built a base runner, which seems like a really... oh, they're free. Good point. I built a base runner, which seems like a really bad idea, I must say. I mean, it gives a bit of anti-air, but, I mean, and look at where it's being pathed, too. Like, I don't have field control at all right now, so building this base runner seems like I'm just asking for it to die. Not to mention, there's actually no anti-air by these assault ships, so this base runner could be kind of useful over here, but it's not there. And indeed, it'll just get killed by railguns. So that seems like a big throw to me. Now that AGame's got the rails here, I mean, obviously, he just pushed against the assault ships without them. Now that he's got them, I don't know what I'm gonna do here. This looks very difficult. It's not a good situation to be in. So I'm taking the siege, it looks like. And if I recall, this was back when siege was like very cheap. Didn't have a very good barrage, but had it off of cooldown very often. I think. I can't exactly remember. It's being a 5-head trying to deny artifacts by sacrificing a VR. You think that's what I was doing? I mean, maybe. Seems pretty bad though, just because like base runners are expensive, you know. So who knows? Who knows? It's funny looking at yourself in the past. If I watched some of those games that I used to play back in like 2016, I would vomit. There's armor 3. This is gonna be very good. I mean, obviously with that Sunder, like, you want to get as much armor still as you can, but still, it's never going to let these assault ships fight against the railguns in open ground. This is why I say this is a good map for Soba 1. Look how open it is. It's very, very difficult to find something to hide behind. There's a little bit of space there, there's a little bit of space over here, but there's not much. So, armor 3 is nice, but it's not going to do everything for me. I need that siege, really. And the tech is done, so I'm building it here. But range upgrade's going to be a while away. That was weird. It's a lot of LAVs too. And the thing is, like, if the assault ships get kind of bled out by the railguns here, I will just die to those LAVs, and they can jump on that siege cruiser in a really damaging way too. Did not disable the auto target, so he's going to know about the siege here. You don't think so? I don't know. I mean, it just feels like I can't contest these railguns directly. I am floating a bit of CU, so maybe there's an idea I could go for Sandstorm next. It's the double barrage, but the assault ships are kind of not here. They actually want to commit right now. Oh my gosh. I just GG'd right there. Well, I mean, I guess, to be fair, this is not really going anywhere, but that seems a bit premature. I would have at least liked to see like how this turned out, because there's not many railguns left, but... Yeah, apparently I'm not really interested in this. What I'm really worried about probably is the fact that these two base burners are going to get out, and I just don't know how I can stop them, so... Yeah, I'm going to call the GG apparently. That brings us to 2-0 for A-Game. This is of course a best of 7, so it's not over yet, but... Looking pretty good for him. It is not match point yet, but we move on to tight end passage. This is actually A-Game's pick. No secret that he doesn't really like this map, you know, but maybe he just wanted to get it out of the way early, right? Let's see what doth transpire here. I might go for something a little bit silly, just because it's me. Yeah, we do have Sandstorm Fab queued really, really early. And I'm keeping the base burner. Well, I suppose that's a good reason to pick it. You're right, though. I mean, this is very similar to KT in a lot of ways like that, right? Except it's much more punishing because of all that high ground. Like, this is one of these, you know, permanent high ground maps where if an opponent gets entrenched here, it feels really hopeless trying to get them off. I've seen it happen, but it's a very difficult thing. This probe here is going to catch the PC, and that's a demonstration of how to not get your probe killed by PC anti-air. Some people would say it is impossible, but indeed, it does work. That's not a tell that anything funky is happening, although I'm sure A-Game kind of has it in the back of his mind. I'd like to try funny stuff on this map. But look at where he keeps this probe. Like, he really knows what I want to do. He's like, yeah, look, I'm going to go over this side. If he tries to hide the PC in the air back there, I'll kind of know about it. So, it's assault chips for me. You can see the game plan here is to march in with the assault chips and chonk over there. But A-Game is not gonna let me do that unseen, clearly. So now, to be fair, I believe in this patch the PC had not yet gotten its vision radius buff. I'm not sure. Maybe it already had, because I mean it looks pretty big. Looks like the PC is gonna kill off the probe now. So down it goes. I've already started with assault chip tech though, so I really have to commit to this push. And it's a little bit unfortunate because I do have the base burner here. I wanted to obviously try and fake it, but it's not going to work here. So, I mean, he saw that PC out here. He knows that something's going on. But I still have to try for it, get a little bit of damage, because obviously if I don't and I go back to ref mode now, I'm just going to be way too late. There's ideas to canceling assault chip fab and then going to ref mode, but I don't think it would work terribly well. So, we do have that first assault chip queued up now. Just tanking the LAVs for now. I'm trying to keep them off the skims by kind of warding off the PC here. The problem is that I might not honestly even win the fight after the assault chip pops out if I don't have like any strike craft left. But it looks like I'm gonna be okay here. It's only it's only 3 LAVs there, and I did keep this skim alive, so this is probably alright. But now I need to try and gain as much ground as I can and kind of hold my opponent back. It's also worth noting, of course, he is Soban here, so it's a little bit tricky to fight against that carrier, which does have the armor break like railguns do. But, like I said, I mean, I've already got the tech, so I've got to try it. These LAVs here going wide, I think they want to try and deny eco, actually, which is a pretty smart move. You saw this in Game 1 already. If you can stop your opponent from LDMing, that really makes a lot of attacks like this less powerful. The question is how much you want to commit to it, but in this case it's a pretty easy question because these are just LAVs, right? So like they can't really fight the assault chips terribly well, although they can when there's armor break. And wow, that Spawn carrier just chonked the assault chip straight up and just killed him like that. I wasn't really expecting that. That's really kind of a bad situation for me here. I do get the one artifact out, which is nice. But this rush was already going to be hard to pull off, but now that I've already lost one, this feels pretty bad, actually. I need to do what I'm doing right now, though, which is keeping an assault chip here and then bringing some other ones around to this side. A-Game gonna start slapping some salvagers here, but the carrier is ready to stop him, so... Oh, don't retire, don't do this. Oh, past Bozo, why would you do that? Oh, I don't know why I retired that. very poor play, I would say, because obviously, once you retire, these LAVs have done their job already, and they can just leave, right? So I actually am just unlocking his LAVs by retiring like that. He might as well have killed it, although I did get a bit more money back, but not much. I do have ref mode started here, though. But you know what the problem is? I mean, like A-Game was saying that this map is very good for Savon, right? It's that permanent high ground thing. If I fall back now and I go up to 2 base, on a map like, I don't know, Firebase Krill or something, this is maybe workable. But on this map, he's already got the railgun started, so he'll come up here and then get into that position on like my 3rd base there, and I don't really know what I do to stop him at that point. It feels a little bit hopeless, so I think I'm kind of playing into his hands here a little bit. And you can see these assault ships again trying to poke in, but they can't really get anything done. Too much time that A-Game has had to prepare its defense here. I will get this artifact, which is good. It's going to bring the scoreline to 2-0. And when you have like a rush, but you keep your base burner, that's like an option that's open to you. It's like you can really kind of slam out these artifacts, but yeah, but this is going to be real rough here. This is not going to be an easy follow-up for me at all. Maybe I could try something crazy, like go for a rail rush here. You can see I'm floating a lot of CUs actually. Oh gosh, really need Fleet Cap 45 started like yesterday. I could get like another PC and then bring the carrier out, but he's already got railguns, which is kind of the answer to that. So it doesn't seem terribly good. I'm keeping a bit of pressure on him. I've got these assault chips down here, but it's not going to be too long before A-Game decides to come up here. Yeah, I've got to say, it does kind of feel like sluggish, like we're drifting through treacle, you know? We got railgun fab started, so definitely no ideas of like a carrier rush here at all. That's not even a 2nd PC. Oh gosh. Yeah, this is kind of miles behind actually. It's a lot worse than it looks, right? Like, I think on like face value here, this actually looks pretty okay. But with, like if you know, like if you've seen how these things turn out, it's really not good at all to be like this late on your 2nd PC's Galzian. And even though A-Game is playing it kind of slow as well, I mean, he's really ahead here. And I like how he's long distance mining these CUs as well instead of going for RUs on the main. That's probably something that I should be doing as well right now. I'm going to try and flip the bases now, so I get that carrier over to the 2nd base. Railgun fab is done. What kind of army beats this, though? I mean, I can build railguns, but this is going to be difficult. Railguns and assault ships are very expensive, and they tend to lead to floats if you try to build that type of composition. Right here, we're also going to see an assault ship go down, I'm sure. Not going to trade very well against these LAVs here. And actually, whoa, I'm yawning. This is, yeah, that tells you how this game's going. This is actually where these assault ships ought to be going for a backstab. But they've actually come back to try and stop the extract, but that's a little bit fantasy, right? I don't think that's ever going to happen. And this is what I was talking about. A-Game takes this position up here on the 3rd base with these railguns here. He gets the artifact too, so this is going to kind of pull me back onto this side, and that's exactly what he wants to do. If he can kind of push and pull me a little bit, that gives him more and more time to build up like a hold on this location. And he fans these railguns quite nicely to try and catch the assault ships. Note the probe. Giving his railguns vision forever. That's a very nice play. And so I do have this one heavy railgun, but like I said, I'm behind on the rail count already, but on top of that, like, he's going to have this position where he gets this kind of permanent high ground, so this is really tough for me. I don't know how this is done, really. Maybe with air, but again, like, look at this. A-Game's already set up these anti-air turret posts. And he can do that so well because he's got these 2 base runners, right? And he's actually kind of making this a bit of a, like, 2-base play, because obviously he hasn't gotten another support cruiser, but he doesn't need it. He'll know for a long time. Like, look, this wreck isn't even open, but let alone that, like, he'll know if I'm mining on it. I'm not right now. So he can be pretty confident just playing this, like, 2-base here, because he knows, like, even if I'm just LDMing, I'm ahead of him. And he'll start evening that artifact score here, too, so this base runner can pick up the artifact whenever it pleases to do so. LAV damage 2 coming out now. I like the play, actually. I mean, Mag Excel is an option too, but he's got enough railguns, I feel like it kind of doesn't matter. So just getting those LEV upgrades to where they can have a bit more autonomy, like leaving this area and doing things on their own, I think is pretty strong. Here's that horrifying high ground situation I was talking about again. Very tough to deal with this, right? Because again, like, if I want to push on this, I have to drive up this hill. And all these railguns with that high ground bonus, there's no way that my railguns can contest. All I can do sitting here is stop him from pushing into me, right? So, not really ideal, you would say. This assault ship here getting hounded as well. If I can get over this hill, it might be okay, but A-Game is very good about driving these railguns out to the side where it can, like, flank on me. And that allows him to continue shooting even when I try to take cover behind dunes. I'm going to take this moment where he was shooting at them to try and move up a bit, but look at all these railguns with high ground. I might actually get this guy out. That was pretty good micro for me to keep this guy alive there. Range calibration going to start for me then? Because, like, the only way I can fight this is if I outrange him, right? Eventually, you would expect A-Game to get up on the 3 base. I was mentioning he didn't have to do it before, but at some point he really wants to do it. So this is probably a little late for him, but like, these assault ships here are on a nice flanking position, but they can't push in because those railguns would stop them. So, and they can't really push up this hill either. That's what I'm trying for right now. But this is doomed to failure. I'm probably just gonna lose these 3 assault ships for nothing. Looks like I'm gonna try to get that base burner, but A-Game can really easily just rebuild that. So this doesn't work either. I don't think. And the targeting jammer is so good. Oh. Okay, but the range calibration railguns are actually doing the job here. You know, I kind of take it back. This is looking a little bit more lively than I gave it credit. Still, though, all the assault ships going down means that these LEDs can just chonk. And again, he got the upgrades for it. He's got full ups there, so yeah. In fact, I know what that means. So I just GG right out. A-Game has an idea for this map. Well, that would be welcome, I would say. I had an idea of opening the boundary so that you could drive in here, but, like, it's interesting. Currently, the boundary is already set that far, right? Oh, I can't show it right now because I have, like, the end screen. But I think they have, like, blockers set up, so you can't go into here. At any rate, though, this crater is such a big area, I don't know how well it would really play out for the map. Oh well. But that is game 3, isn't this, right? Yeah. That is game 3 going the way of AGameAnx. And that does bring us to match point here, so very crucial that I can win this next game if I want to stay in it. Which, presumably, 6 months ago, I did. But game 4 is my pick here. We're going to grab Firebase Krill for the next map. To me, that seems okay. That seems like a good pick for me, so just thinking, obviously, like, A-Game is not, he's not bad on this map at all, but this is a map that I can be a little bit more competitive, I think. Let's see what we're going to go for. Base burner is being retired. No, it's not, actually, so it's going to come up to the front line. Looks like this will be that sort of old school ref mode where you have the probe out here to, like, see what your opponent is doing. We haven't seen this for a while. I still play it every now and then, actually. I feel like it's okay. I feel like this is a fine build, actually, but it's definitely fallen out of the meta these days. Oh yeah, scanner. I get those two mixed up quite a bit, actually. It's really bad versus double LV. I suppose that's a... Oh! Look at this, I'm being sneaky once again. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of this. I used to really like this kind of play. This is what I would do in the vanilla days all the time, but I've become a bit more confident in, like, playing actual builds, you know, that have, like, high win rates and stuff, rather than this kind of sneaky stuff. The idea is that when I send this scanner out, he knows, okay, this has to be ref mode, but it's not gonna be. But of course, the reason why he knows this has to be ref mode is because the build is not very good if it isn't, right? So this will slow down my timing on some other things by quite a bit. But it will mean that A-Game doesn't know that I'm coming. And probably I'm going to try to play this a bit more decisive than last time, where I'm going to go for railguns here. But it's actually AV Rush from AGameAnx as well, okay. That might pair up well for me, because I think if I've got the rails here... I think that actually, him starting AAVs could turn out to be for my benefit. I need to keep moving with this PC though. I really don't want to let this get detected here. And if it means sacrificing the base runner, I've just got to do it. You really don't want your opponent to know what the play is here. Okay, he's coming. Oh no, don't let him see. The skims are going to go back and defend. This is probably a mistake, because once AGameAnx sees that, he knows exactly what's going on. So, cat's out of the bag now. Would have been better to sacrifice the space runner. Really, you know, commit to the fake play. By the way, I am fleet capped right now, so we're going to need to get that 45 upgrade. Now Bozo. Okay, there we go. A little bit late on the draw, but happened. Probably my next thing will be an assault railgun though, so it's not the hugest loss anyway. Here's that AV though. So he is already here with the AVs. I need to be building this stat, and I do have that assault railgun already queued. There was once a time, back in vanilla, assault railguns build a lot slower than heavy railguns in vanilla, so you would build a heavy in this scenario instead. But that is no longer true, I believe. Now the assault railgun is going to pop out in danger here, but I believe I can pop the base runner heal and I'll be fine. So this fight I can probably win. Yeah, base runner heal is going to be used here. And you see the skims tasked immediately on the AV because I really need to get this thing killed off, right? That's the big threat to me. And these LAVs I can kill later. In fact, I'm going to continue engaging, although the smoke splits off the assault railgun here. I have another one out though. But this AV gets out, so I ended up losing an LAV for that, which is, or sorry, a sand skimmer for that, which is not great. Again, A-game with this denial of the long distance mining, that's really crucial. Very, very good move. You should definitely do that when opponents are rail rushing. But see, I can see the AV here, so I'm going to build a heavy railgun now. Does A-game have the production upgrade though? He does. And that's the thing, you can tech switch back onto LAV fab pretty easy here, so I still need to get that second PC. And that base runner being with me right now is kind of nice for the heal, but it's definitely going to slow down my, it's going to slow down my build here, for sure. There's that second PC started. The LAV count is going to get a little bit out of hand here. And having a heavy here, again, it's not going to do anything against these LAVs, so a little bit risky for me. I've got base runner heal, though. That's kind of the ace up the sleeve here, I suppose, anyway. And a lot of damage actually being put down to these LAVs, which is not being reciprocated, of course. And A-game can't heal that ever, so... Well, actually, I take it back, he's already got an SC out, but for the moment, he really can't heal that, so this damage in the carrier is actually kind of significant. I'm not a huge fan of the way that I'm playing this, but it might work. It might just work. And this one LAV here as well that was sent to disrupt the long distance mining is left. So if I realize that, I can go back to that, but I probably won't. I mean, it's like I don't see that this guy left, you know what I mean? So it's difficult to tell. AV gonna try and get involved in the fight again. Having a couple of AVs for smoke is actually not bad on the rail rush. I say a couple, I mean really you only need like one or two. Obviously, again, not to spoil anything, we've seen in recent games that you can indeed make AVs work against a rail rush. Oh, this guy lives on 12 HP, which is really crucial, and a lot of LAVs actually feeding in here. Normally that's what A-game has to say about me, rather than the other way around, so it's kind of refreshing to see him losing units this time. You need to be careful though, these guys are on high ground, they're forming a bit of an omega point. I do outrange them with these ARs, so if I'm careful I can get kills on them still. Second PC is done, by the way, finally. Again, this takes a long time because of that base runner retainer, but retainer? I'm not hiring a lawyer. But I do have the superior production of Strikecraft now, and I've got Armor 1. I've got Armor 2 started before he does. Okay, so I've actually got a big lead on the Strikecraft here. That's gonna be a big deal. Maybe this comes down to AV Tech having been, like, you know, teched, I guess, but he only built one of them, so it's a bit of a sink of resources, but if the base runner is here, I can probably win this fight even just now. Well, the numbers are pretty close, it's like 13 to 10, but not to mention I have Armor 2, of course. Sandskimmer rating starting for me as well. I want to bring that base runner up there. These high grounds are a bit of a trap. I learned this in a Jaraci Cup against Cascara, but I want to bring that railgun over here. This is a very nice high ground where I can actually start hurting that carrier. And again, A-game, of course, he's mining on 2 base here, so I need to be really careful I, you know, don't just sit around and do nothing. It's difficult to pull off a rail rush for a couple of reasons. I wonder if AGame could make something happen by going around and then taking this high ground position, but I don't think so. Uh-oh, so Railgun gets chunked immediately. But AGame is trying to take that high ground now. But here's the thing, though. If he comes this way, I can actually just move past him. Uh-oh, I don't like this for AGame. Because, again, I've got armor, too. He doesn't. Wait, does he? Oh, he does. Oh, I take it all back. I've got rating, I suppose, over him, but that's not a huge deal. But he realizes he can't take this, though, and he starts backing away. Doesn't have that boost, though, so it's kind of painfully slow. Oh, he doesn't have armor, too. That helps to explain it. ALM deployed here to just try and disrupt the Sand Skimmers, get a little bit of CC on them, but the damage is kind of already done here, and AGame does not have the damage to follow up on that. So the ALM spam is not really going to pay off either. And this is looking really good, actually. He starts teching that boost now, but he's also got railgun tech, right? But how does he build railguns right now? The Sand Skimmers are just going to eat him if he doesn't go for, you know, more LAVs to try and match with him. Tiltville right here, yeah, probably. It's frustrating to get rail rushed, I'm sure. Especially when things were going pretty well before. That carrier taking too much damage, it has to give up that second base location. And usually, like in a rail rush, when the position is even, is when it's not sure if that second base is still occupied. Once the second base is like thoroughly held, the rail rusher is getting behind. When the base is backed away from entirely and just given up, the rail rusher is pretty much won. I mean, it's very, very hard to come back from this position. These guys have seen that the area is clear, but they're not mining, so a little bit awkward there for sure, but you know. But I gotta say, I wouldn't have pegged Firebase Krill as like a rail rush map. I really would have thought I wasn't gonna go for this build on this map here, but it seems to have worked. It's not done yet, though. That's the thing. It's not done yet. AGame is actually not healing his carrier, though. Uh-oh. This is kind of yikes. He has built a railgun, though. He's gonna try and turtle on one base here. And the longer that well, I mean, if he was healing his carrier, the longer this goes on, the better it gets because he can get that health point pool back up. And it takes a long time for these heavy rails to chip things down. Maybe he buys some space for himself to where he can actually fight this off. But he's not healing it, which is really crucial. Now, I do love how he's built on their AV, though, to try and hold on to this railgun, because that smoke is going to be really impactful that way. But I can see that there's a railgun out, so I'm just going to start building railguns of my own. And I am extracting now, too, so I'm going to get... There's even a sand skimmer guarding it. That's kind of quaint. I am going to get an artifact extraction here, and that will continue until AGame decides to stop me. And I've got range calibration here. See, I'm going to play this really slow. Give my opponent time to react, but... I guess the hope is that it won't really matter. With calibration on, it probably ranges to about here, so... Difficult to keep vision on all of that, but if I can, I've got a very powerful asset now. I'm gonna probably want to move him around the map border here and just try and, like, kind of slice in a little bit closer. Well, that might be risky because then he can get pushed on, but... You know, actually, I like this play, though, where I've got this one on the high ground over here. Because this kind of stops him taking the hill, means this guy can turn off calibration and move up, so this is actually kind of a nice move. Shifts the focus of the battle, too, to where it's very obvious that that second base is not occupied. Uh-oh, and the LAV's getting jumped on again. They really can't afford this. They need to boost out, but he's not using the ability. Maybe he's wagering that a bit of high ground here is going to help him. Assault railguns are coming back home. Oh yeah, there's an AV headed on the way down there. I can't believe I actually saw that. It's uncharacteristic of me to play well. Calcium railguns with a good rate of fire, of course, does manage to kill off that Saman rail as well. Uh-oh, and needs to be careful with the line here, though. This is the fake kill of Firebase Krill, mind you, so it does not provide actual cover. Yeah, the assault railguns, it looks like, have kind of done their job on the front line. They're just going to go back home now. If I tech rail EMP, also, that might be helpful to assist me in holding this down. And this is back when the EMP rounds were 100C is cheaper, so not a bad idea, per se. This guy's in range. And you can see the range on calibration is really intense. This guy's slowly sliding over here. He wants to get kind of wide so that we can engage the dune from multiple angles and stop the railguns from hiding behind it. The problem is that if I go too far, I open up the LAVs to actually be able to kill off my heavy railguns here. Uh-oh, they're taking a good engage right now. One rail from one rail over here, by the way, but it looks like AGame will finish this off. doesn't. Oh, that's crippling. Oh, he does. Okay, that's so good for A-Game. Because if that doesn't go down, this is really like... I mean, it's triggering for one, but... He can't sustain losses like that. And I built another base runner. Look at this. Oh, this is straight up evil play for me. That other railgun did end up going down, by the way, it looks like, to this guy. Who is now a sentinel. Pretty cool. Looks like A-Game's gonna go for the base runners now, but that means I can turn off calibration, come up here to the railgun, and start trying to chomp the carrier. And these two assault railguns will be forfeit, but they just buy time. That's all I need to buy with these base runners here. The purpose of this is to get pressure and like make him... yeah, exactly. The purpose of this is to get pressure and like make him come to me, and this is what I've done. So now I just want to buy for time. The LAVs have to be down there, so... Ooh, nice step packs, but there's no follow-up here. The skins are able to just kind of dive on in here and just destroy everything. I'm throwing... Well, I don't know. I mean, the problem... Yeah, you are going to surrender there, so it looks like I do take this one. The problem is that if you don't stop those base runners, that is going to be a win condition, right? I feel like you kind of have to do it. But obviously this is what happens if you leave those base runners alone, so... Game 4 does go my way. We're still in this series now. Moving on to Game 5. But it was close. I mean, this one definitely could have gone either way. That build I was doing is really kind of a little bit suspicious, you know what I mean? It's not the strongest build in the world, obviously, so there's definitely there's risk involved when I play things like that, but I felt like I needed to do something to get back into this. And it does get me one game. Now we move on to Game 5, which is going to be A-Game's pick once again, Gaussian Territories. Again, a map that's a little bit difficult for me. I tend to have a somewhat shaky track record on this. If you remember, like, I believe the first tournament games that Marchbottom beat against me was on this map, as he was playing Conf. Insta Sandskimmer Fab here. I expect a base runner to retire, so this is going to be probably Rail Rush once again. But it's interesting Sandskimmer Fab starts so early. I think I'm going to put a bit more emphasis on that than usual. But A-Game is going LAVs as well. It's a very good map for Strikecraft in general. Well, just for LAVs in general, I should say. They feel very, very strong because of how open all of this is. Skimmer tech done now. I'm going to move that PC out. Actually, look at that. A-Game is going to tech into AAVs here. This is a bit interesting. Like I said, a bit of a focus probably on Sandskimmers for me, so if he shows up with AAVs, that might be bad. I'll have to see what happens here. You have a couple LAVs coming out for A-Game. That's pretty standard when you go AVs. They give you some really nice scouting. And also, I mean, they can contribute quite meaningful damage even when there's only like 2 or 3 of them, so... Is this LAV gonna come around on the map? It will probably see this PC here. We do have Railgun Fab started already, so the AVs are probably not gonna just straight up kill me. But I do need to be careful. If I get too close, I might be in trouble here. I can jump on this LAV though for sure, so that's gonna be what happens. He just wanted to see though, it looks like, what my tech was, but by the way that he's rallied it all the way out there. So he won't be too mad that this guy dies. Obviously it shows him, okay, it's gonna be railguns up in a forward PC for Bozo once again. And that is very nice for A-Game to know. Clears his mind just a little bit. Fleet Cap 45 text for me now as Railgun Fab is finishing, but here's that AV. These skims could maybe fight it off at the moment, so he does need to be a little bit careful that he doesn't just overextend, but I will have that Assault Railgun pretty soon, so I'm going to be able to hold this off as well. That's quite a beefy turret, eh? I like how AVs look. He's pushing far with this AV. I mean, he kind of puts this guy out on an island by driving that far out. Assault Railgun will go down and hunt him here for sure. Yeah, me too. I mean, all the units in... Well, I mean, not even just the UK, just all of Homeworld, except for Cataclysm. They just look great, you know? Homeworld 1's got a much more, like, utilitarian feel. Homeworld 2 is very sleek. It looks modern, you know what I mean? This of Karok is very, very unique, too, actually, in a different way. Like, I really like it. And then Cataclysm is like, flying space toasters. It's not very good. Well, I'm sure that the caliber on this thing is pretty freaking big, actually, as it turns out. Because, of course, like, the scale in this game is huge. But, like, I love the sloped armor, too. That's such a nice touch. Just, these units are just so nice looking. Second PC is almost done for me here. Oh, I don't know. Oh, the sides aren't angled? Yeah, but... Well, you know, if you angle the sides, it makes the weight per, like, hole, or, per, like, space inside the chassis quite unfavorable, actually. Yeah, well, I mean, this is probably, like, I don't want to postulate too much, but this is probably, like... I mean, that's a door, so you can imagine. This is, like, a really freaking big gun, right? And it's like a freaking chain gun, like it's a Gatling cannon, right? Firing, who knows, this might be like 120mm shells. I mean, these things are freaking huge, so. Heavy railgun is out for me, so that gives me armor break. These skins can fight. AGame tries to smoke it here, but it doesn't go quite so well. He's actually got a kind of a nice surround, but I doubt if he's got the units for it, really. Uh-oh, but there's a bit of focus fire problems for me. But this assault rail lives! Oh dear. Oh, what a hero! A bit of bad focus fire for AGame too. It looks like this fight is messy for both of us. One volley will just donk these guys entirely. It looks like he does finally get that assault, and he gets one of the heavies. Fighter and gunship started for him, but look at this. I've got my 2PC ready here. I think he was expecting a drop back to eco. That's not on the cards for me actually, and I'm getting railguns here. I've got another heavy on the way. I've got a whole bunch of assaults. Uh-oh. This could be bad for AGame. Again, you can see these assault railguns do a lot of damage already to that Saban carrier. Even more in the current versions of the patch. But, yeah, this doesn't look good for AGame. And I agree with that, by the way. I feel like the LAV sound is not terrible, but even that could be a lot stronger. But like AVs, you know, they should have like a freaking beefy sound effect. Whereas they just kind of, they sound a little weak. Audibly. They are a little weak in this case. You can see they're just feeding in here. Because what else does he do? I mean, this is kind of a desperado player. Like, maybe I can kill off the heavy and buy a bit more time for myself. There's not much that AGame can do. He's waiting for air here. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it would actually be a better play to like get the air, try and jump out, kill a couple of these guys, and push them with the AVs. But you can see, this just goes nowhere for him. So this is a lot of assault railguns. When you get to this point, like AVs just can't really do anything. And down he goes. So I survived for a little bit longer. The scoreline is 2-3 now. But I've still got it all to do. It's gonna be match point till the end. If I'm looking for that reverse sweep. Game 6. Le Canyon Outpost. This one gonna be my pick, it looks like. And the ace match would be the Shallows, which I believe is actually the vanilla Shallows, but this is a map that AGame is pretty comfortable on, I'm sure. After all, he did make it. You know, it used to be a 3v3 map where actually I think in the, or sorry, 2v2 map, I think that like this is in play actually in the 2v2 version, but that'd be a little bit big for 1v1. We actually used to use those 2v2 maps in tournament, you know, but we realized it was a little bit silly pretty quickly. But it's a map that's pretty good for defense, I would say, but because of the situation of the dunes here, sometimes things can get a bit awkward and the attacker can have some advantages. But it looks like AGame mostly wants to go for SC first, I believe. He's retired that probe, but he's, or base runner, but he sent a probe out. He get a little bit poked by the PC there, but he does survive. It's unfortunate for him though, because that doesn't really tell him anything. I've actually got Sandscammer Fab done already, so it looks like I want to keep up the aggro. I've got to say, I really feel like the better play here is to go for Rift mode. Which, to my recollection, I've only done once this series so far. Is that true? Yeah, I think it is, on Kartova. Every other game has been like aggression for me, which is kind of crazy here. And A-Game has got that LEV Fab started now, but his SC is out. He didn't actually rotate his carrier here, so it's going to be a little bit awkward. Sport Cruiser is pushed off to the side there, but we'll get to the position eventually. And now Railgun Fab starts for me, so it looks like it's going to be another Rail Rush. Gotta say though, if that's what I want, I think that this is the angle to approach from. Which is kind of a bad sign actually. Anytime that you have to approach from your opponent's main, you know that your rush is very all or nothing, right? What it means is that your opponent will flip his carriers over here to Sport Cruisers there. You always want to have your carrier facing the aggro. But then if you don't push him off of the main, you know, he has full eco forever. So it's really, really dangerous, I think, to rail rush on a map like that. Sure enough, this PC is actually falling back home. That's interesting. It is AVs once again for A-Game. Huh, but what's my play here? Am I going for ref mode now? I can't imagine that's the play. We have 45 coming out. Is PC gonna come back and kill the probe? That'd be a little funky. Meanwhile, we have production upgrade coming out for A-Game. No, I am building assault railguns, and they are coming back onto the field here. I don't know. This is a little bit suspicious. I'm throwing, man. It's the match-fixing scandal, you know? Can you believe that was actually an allegation that Trend made back in the day? Another heavy rail for me. I'm still not hot on that decision. But A-Game has cancelled AV Fab and he's going for railguns. Oh, you never heard of that? Oh, I thought I told you already. Yeah, it was during the whole fiasco where they were like blatantly wrong about like the tournament scene, but they couldn't admit it. And he basically like, this was before it blew up so badly that they just straight up kicked me off the team. But he basically was saying like, first off, that it was my idea to have like the finalist and champions rules, which is not true. I mean, obviously it was Philothanik who introduced it, but yeah, his thought was that like I was using these as like some way to like gain influence over people or something. So I had control over the roles, you know, and I would like decide who won the tournaments and whatever. Like straight up WWE crap, you know. It was like, are you for real, Trent? Like, you don't believe that. I think he really did. I mean, it was ridiculous. Suffice to say, it's not true. I was certainly playing to win here. My second PC is woefully late. And I can't push on this position at all. A-Game's had 2 base for free pretty much this whole time. At this point, going back to ref mode is probably my best bet, but it's not certain I'd be able to. Oh, well, no, definitely not. This is an engage that A-Game wins, but he's gonna back away from it, which is really convenient for me. I think if he just dove in with the LAVs, he actually wins that. My Rail Rush brain is telling me bad times ahead, you know, when I look at that, so I need to get my fleet cap up. It looks like I'm on it already. This probe will finally be sniped down. It's been up for a long time. But it looks like the LAVs are coming for the railgun here. And my skims are getting way ahead of the rest of my army here. This is kind of an F2 click moment for me. But that could be very bad if these LAVs figure out that they can just kill off this railgun here. Oh no, come back! Come back! Oh! This is kind of a textbook error, I would say, when you rail rush. Looks like A-Game, though, he actually is going to come back and respawn because he did lose the logistics module there. But to trade that for a heavy railgun, you'd say it's worth it. He doesn't get it. Oh. Okay, that actually kind of brings me back into this a little bit. Because I basically got that logistics module for free now. And I have armor 2 already. So does he, but I've got raiding started. Okay, this could still work. The problem is that this guy did take a lot of damage. He's got to heal up before he can fight that railgun from A-Game on the back. What, like Saban losing the logistics module, but you kill a heavy railgun? I think it's definitely worth, because he didn't lose any strikecraft there. Did you? Oh, maybe you did, actually. For HR. I think it's kind of a situation where like the heavy railgun isn't doing anything right now, so this is a huge throw. It's a situation I think where the LAV isn't doing anything, so or the heavy railgun isn't doing anything, so if you trade for it, you're actually kind of losing. Oh no, what am I doing here? Okay, I'm coming back into it now. The thing is, these LAVs, they have good vision, they can see me going around it, so he knows I'm positioning like this. And the PC is gonna go down! Oh dear! That's really bad. Oh no. Losing a PC like that, my production is just set so far back here. You can see I'm taking into a soul chip fab because I feel like I need something to counter these LAVs. Oh man. I have no memory of this place. This trade looks okay, but he's got so many more numbers, actually. Oh no, it's 20 to 10. And again, he can continue producing full speed here. I'm down to 1 PC. I've got to be running for my life now. Oh no. And he's got the 2 guys here to deny the LDMs. This is so textbook for A-Game. Very, very good stuff here. Well, I think it makes sense, because obviously I can't keep building Strikecraft. I'm gonna lose that fight, so I need to tech into AS here, but it's kind of a desperado move, right? Experimenting in ace match. Well, I wouldn't call this experimenting. I've done this before. Still, the numbers are just so bad for me here. And look at how he brings one guy in so that he can like eat up the AOE at the first. Just getting EMP. Well, the heavy railguns died too, so I couldn't go for that. Yeah, that's gonna be the end of those guys. And this is Soul Chip will melt too. Again, it's only armor. I'm actually tech armor. Wow. But he's got like almost full ups there. So these LAVs here, there's a lot of them. I mean, how many LAVs is this? 26, and he's got more on the way. Crazy. There's no stopping this once I've lost a PC like that. And that skimmer move out to the side was so weird. I mean, not to say that I was ahead before. Again, he's been mining on 2 bases this whole time, but A-Game is going to take that. And as we were on match point, that is going to be him winning the series as well. So 4-2. And he was indeed the Jaraci Cup 6 champion. Way back in the day. Hope you guys enjoyed casting this blast from the past. It's been kind of fun, you know, going back in time and seeing how I used to play back then. I guess I will upload this to YouTube imminently. But if that's the case, I might as well advertise Jaraci Cup 11, which is live almost now. I'm about to open it up for registration in like 2 seconds. So by the time the YouTube video goes up, it should be. But yeah, this tournament is going to be sponsored by BBI and by Gearbox. We have Steam keys to Homeworld Remastered, and as well we're going to have Phoenix Yo make some custom content for the people who place in the semifinals. So make sure to join that. I'll leave a link in the video description when this goes up on YouTube. And yeah, thanks for watching, I guess. I've been up for like 20 hours, so I'll probably go to bed now. See you next time.